Hey ladies, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk a little bit on modesty and how we ought to represent ourselves and represent Christ as Christian young women when it comes to dressing and our appearance. And I really wanted to share my personal rules and guidelines, the things that I follow, the guidelines that I follow when it comes to how I dress and when it comes to modesty. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Lois Raymond, and on this channel, I'm all about helping and serving you navigate and blossom through life as a godly woman, wife, and a mother. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please be a doll and do so. I would really do appreciate it. So if you guys notice that the setup is totally different, I just decided to just film this outside just to have like a simple talk with you guys, nothing formal. It's going to be really relaxed and just share my heart on this topic with you guys. So in my opinion, modesty is such a huge and broad topic, and you can fall on either side of the spectrum. It's yes, there are things that are black and white when it comes to modesty, but I believe that there are a lot of gray areas when it comes to modesty. It's one of those topics. It's like women preaching in the Bible. There are certain denominations that are totally against it and others that are for it. And then there are a lot of in-betweens. And that's how I feel about it when it comes to modesty. I mean, you can look in the Bible and get different scriptures to back up whatever you believe on it. And modesty, when it comes to modesty, your culture, your nationality, where you live, the time in which you live, your background, how you were brought up, your religion, your denomination, your own personal preference and personality can have a great influence. All of these things have an influence on your perspective when it comes to modesty. What I may deem as modest, you may not deem as modest. And I think that's why the most important factor is really just having the Holy Spirit there to guide you and to lead you into all truths. And that's why we have him there. He's one of the persons that are there to convict us and to really help us along this line. So I wanted to share with you guys my rules and the guidelines that I follow when it comes to modest dressing and my appearance. And I think that is going to help you guys a lot in your journey to just dressing Christ-like as a young woman. So these are the rules that I follow. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still learning along the way. I'm not saying that this is set in stone and you have to do it, but these are the things that I do to really please God and even to please myself in the way that I dress. So the first question I ask is, what is my motive and what is my intentions in wearing what I am wearing? Am I wearing this to bring sexual attention to myself? Am I wearing this outfit for men to look at me and to lust and to just be drawn towards me in a sexual manner and to find me appealing? So that's the first thing that I ask myself. What is my motive? I believe the first thing is, and the basis for everything should always be on the integrity of your heart and the intentions of your heart. That's the first thing in anything that we do, whether it is worship, whether it is we give, whatever we do, the basis of it always have to stem and be assessed by the intentions of our heart. What is my intentions? Is it to cause sexual distraction? Is it because I want attention, or because I'm insecure in myself and I'm seeking approval from men to look at me and to lust? Or on the flip side, I ask myself, is this outfit going to cause someone to stumble? Me wearing this, is a man going to look at me and be tempted? And I'm not talking about men that don't have control over themselves and men that are perverted and just have that spirit of lust, but a simple godly young man looking at me that really wants to live pure and holy. Him looking at me, will he have to turn away his eyes because of the way I dress and because it's so inappropriate and because it's such a distraction sexually that he cannot look at me? He cannot look at me in the eye and speak because of the way I dress. It's just a distraction. So after I have assessed and questioned my intentions, the second thing that I ask myself is this outfit comfortable? Yes, you might be saying, Lois, for modesty, what comfort has to do with modesty? But it has a lot to do with modesty if you really look at it. When I walk outside, am I going to feel comfortable? Or if I am in church, every minute I have to be pulling down the hem of the skirt because it's too short. Or if I sit, the skirt rides up so much that a little bit, inch again, you're going to see my cookie. Or I always have to be pulling down the back of my top because I'm afraid that my underwear is showing. Am I comfortable enough to sit around people and have conversations, comfortable within myself, but also comfortable in the fabric and the material and the length of the outfit that I'm wearing? Am I comfortable? And a lot of the times, this is a huge sign that sometimes we ignore when it comes to modesty. We wear something and we really don't feel comfortable. We are always fidgeting or always self-conscious or always aware. Is my back exposed too much? Is my belly showing too much? My hemline, is my tights showing? This is a huge sign that tells us that probably you're not dressed as modest as the Holy Spirit would require of you and would want you to dress, because you feel uncomfortable within yourself. So this is a question that I ask myself: am I comfortable in this outfit? My third question to myself is this appropriate? Is this appropriate? Because a lot of the times we can wear something and we feel comfortable in it. You know, we feel comfortable in it, but that does not mean that it is appropriate. What I would wear on a date night with my husband, I will not wear to church. What I would wear to a family gathering where it's just my family and I alone, I will not wear to a church gathering. So there's a level of appropriateness that goes with the outfit that we wear. And also, as I did a video on traits of a classy woman, I spoke about the dress code and just having the appropriate attire for different events and respecting the culture of the church or the household or event that you're going to is so important. So a lot of the times you may go to church in a short skirt, you may not feel convicted, you may feel super comfortable, but it is very inappropriate. You know, they may have a set of rules that they operate by in that organization. Probably they wear skirts down to their ankle. Probably they cover them heads. You may be against covering your head, but in that organization, in that culture, they cover their heads. So you may feel okay not covering your head, but when you go to, whether it is a temple or a mosque, whatever you go to, you have to cover your head. So is it appropriate? You may feel comfortable and you may not be convicted by the Holy Spirit wearing pants, but you may go to an event or a church where it is very inappropriate and not in their rules to wear a pants. So that's the third question I asked myself: is it appropriate? I remember going to Israel and I do not cover my head, but we went to a certain temple, we went to a certain mosque. I can't remember what it was. I believe it's a mosque, and we had to cover our heads and just to be respectful. So that's the third thing. Number one, the condition of your heart. What is your intent in wearing the outfit? Number two, is it comfortable? But also very important, and don't skip this point, is it appropriate to where you are going? Is it appropriate? The fourth rule or the fourth guideline is too much skin showing? Is too much skin showing? Now, there are parts of your body that are deemed sacred and ought to be covered and clothed at all times. And if it's not, you're basically naked. All right, so like your legs and your boobs and your thighs, these are areas, your behind, that ought to be covered. And if it's not covered, you're borderline going into looking like if you're naked, right? So that's the question that I asked myself. Is too much skin showing? Now I understand when it comes to the beach, and again, it goes back to the point that I spoke on before in, is it appropriate, right? When I go to the beach, there's a certain dress code. I'm not going to bathe in a jeans and a top, but yet still, I still want to make sure that I dress modest enough that too much skin isn't revealing, that I'm wearing a thongs and all my boobs are popping out, and I'm wearing things that you can see, you know, my nakedness, and you can see my private areas. You still want to make sure that you look modest and that you do not cause a distraction, a sexual distraction, that you're comfortable in it. It's appropriate, but yet still too much skin isn't showing, especially the areas that are deemed private and ought to always be kept hidden. The fifth thing that I consider is my body type and my shape. Sometimes when it comes to modesty, there are some things that I can get away wearing that others may not be able to get away wearing. Like a young lady that is short and petite and doesn't have a lot of curves, she can get away wearing a short dress because of her height and because of her body shape. That someone else that is more tall and thick and more curvaceous may wear the same dress and it will be very inappropriate and not modest and too revealing. So that's another thing to consider too as well, is your body shape. Because I don't have a lot of hips and a lot of you know, behind, I get away with wearing certain pants and certain dresses and stuff like that because I don't have a lot of hips. But I am very top heavy, so because of that, I can't, certain tops and certain outfits I cannot wear because of how I am more top heavy. So just being conscious of your shape and just knowing that certain things, because of how you're structured, you may be able to get away with certain things, and on the other hand, there's some things you may not get away with because of your shape and your body type. And last but not least, which is very important, the rules that I follow when it comes to modesty is to seek a second opinion. Seek a second opinion when it comes to modesty. Ask someone the big question: how do I look? A lot of the times I can check all my guidelines off, and then when I go to my husband, my intent is right, I feel comfortable, I'm dressed appropriate, too much skin isn't showing, I'm dressed for my body type. But when I go to my husband, he would say, no, I don't think you should wear that. For example, and I'll give you an example that recently happened. So we were going to a park, a pool park, to bathe. And I was wearing this thin strap top and a tights. That's what I normally dress in. But this tights I got was a little bit shorter. And I was comfortable in it. I was not feeling convicted at all. My intentions was right. It was very appropriate. It fit my body well. Too much skin wasn't still showing. But when I went to my husband, he was like, no, Lois, that's the tights. You should change that tights. It's a little bit too short. Because we are going with a church group, it's a bit inappropriate. If we were going alone by ourselves, you may have been able to get away with that, but because we are going with a church, I think you should change that pants. So sometimes just checking in with someone, and someone that is going to be honest with you and tell you the truth. And again, when it comes to modesty, sometimes you can ask someone, don't ask someone that you know dress skimpy and wears the shortest of shorts and dress very sexy and very promiscuous. And on the flip end, don't ask someone that you know dresses like an old granny that was born in the 1980s. Ask someone that you know will give you good advice, that is fashionable, that have a little bit of style, that is up to date with the culture, that knows you and also knows the rules of modesty and is just looking out for your best interests. So these are the rules that I live by and I go through when it comes to modesty. So yes, sometimes I wear shorts, I wear short pants. It's just where I wear it. I wear shorts home. If I'm going on a date, I might put on a nice thin strap top. It just depends on where I'm going, who I'm going with, the culture, all of that goes into place. And last but not least, I ask someone, I ask my mom, I ask my husband, how do I look? Tell me the truth, how do I look? And he might say, you know what, probably you should put on a top underneath that because too much cleavage is showing. So these are some of the guidelines. I hope that it helps you when it comes to modesty and just being the woman of God and just representing Christ in the manner that we ought to. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and to comment down below, and share this video with whoever you know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.